why can't you? Sometimes because of your inner thoughts, inner negative thoughts of telling yourself, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, this sucks. I don't know if that's a bad word in Canada or not. This stinks, right? All these different thoughts that come to your mind, sometimes we start, and what happens? Don't go up the volcano. You're going to fall off the side of the volcano. Why are we even going up to the volcano? What's so special about the top of the volcano? We have a plane to catch. We have all these different excuses of not continuing. Have you ever started something and not continue? I know I did, and I know that I started multiple times. And it wasn't just one time. I started and I stopped, and I started and I stopped, and I started and I stopped. And it just very problematic because it really eats me up that I can't give this, whatever it is in my life, a kick away from me, right? I really want to get rid of it, but it's just taking a long time, or it's taking a hard time, or taking me, I'm having a hard time get through it. So these Psalms of Ascent will talk about a journey, and there are 15 Psalms, and I don't want you to read the 15 Psalms, because you can read them at home, but what I did for you is I highlighted some of the, I can't see. Here it is, got it. And I'm going to skip through some slides for you so you don't have to worry about it. But we're going to start with Psalm 120. Okay, and I did highlight so that way, can you see a side? Can you see this? Oh, okay. All right, awesome. So can I ask people to read? Yeah? Can I ask you? So these are very short Psalms, but I've taken some Psalms, some verses out of the Psalms, so we don't have to read all of the 15 Psalms. Even though if we read them, they're not going to take that long. But I just want to go through over the 15 Psalms so you can understand what happens in our own struggles and what is the means of overcoming. Why were these 15 Psalms important for the journey? These people were climbing up a mountain, a very long time going through this process, and they decided that this was what was going to be helpful for them in order for them to get to the top. Maybe some people didn't make it to the top. Maybe some people turned around and said, next feast. There's other opportunities. Okay, maybe we'll do it for Pentecost, and don't worry about this. We'll come back another time. Or maybe some people even want to take the journey. Well, the kids, what are we going to do with the kids? I have work. I have exams. I have studies. I have, whatever it is that we have, excuses. And sometimes these excuses are very legitimate. They're not no-joke excuses. They're serious excuses. I'm going to fail my test if I don't study, so I'm going to not go to church for the next, month and a half because I'm preparing for this big exam. Now, while you're preparing for this big exam and not going to church for a month and a half, you're still wasting half of your day on TikTok or Facebook or talking to your friends or text messages or watching Netflix or whatever it is, and you are unable to manage your time properly, and that's why you decided to skip in order for you to claim that you're studying, right? So these people had legitimate excuses, and sometimes they didn't go to the journey, sometimes they went and stopped, and sometimes they struggled as they were going, but eventually made it to the top. So who wants to start us off by reading this part of the Psalm, excerpts? There are only just a few verses. This is just 5 verses. Maybe this is the longest excerpt. We're going to have like 2 or 3 out of each Psalm. So I have an extra mic here. Not sure if it works, but who wants to take a shot at reading? Shall we just pick? All right, John. Go ahead, John. أكيد في جون هنا مفيش جون في حد فيكم اسمه John? No? No way. Really? John? No? Okay, how about a Marina? Marina? No Marinas in this church? Oh, there you go. Okay, Marina, there you go. Yeah. Like these are the names. And then Mina's next. Where's Mina? There you go, see? Yeah. So Marina's going to start us off. Yeah. We have like 20, and we say Marina I, Marina B, Marina Z, Marina J. Usually there's just like so many Marinas. Go ahead.
I call on the Lord in my distress, and he answers me. Save me, Lord, from lying lips and from deceitful tongues. Woe to me that I dwell in Meshech, that I live among the tents of Kedar. Too long have I lived among those who hate peace. I am for peace, but when I speak, they are for war.
Awesome. Who wants to give us some thoughts on this? It says, I call on the Lord in my distress. So mountains represent distress. We are distressed. We're distressed maybe by sin, by an addiction, by an exam, by a relationship, whatever it is. The mountain represents some type of distress. So no one in life will not have some type of a distressful experience. We're always, this is life. Jesus said, in the world you'll have tribulations. Just accept it, acknowledge it. But what do we do when we have these distressful situations? The first thing that we're going to do, it says, I call on the Lord in my distress. The first step that we do, we see a struggle in our lives, and we say, okay, well, let's call on the Lord. A lot of the times we try to figure it out on our own. Read a book, self-help, watch a TikTok video, look at a YouTube video, whatever. Sometimes we even take advice from people who are, no disrespect to the people that are, posting TikTok videos, but they're, I don't know, what's a good word to say something bad about somebody? They're inexperienced in life, and they're posting these suggestions that are problematic for people. And unfortunately, young people are listening to these fools on TikTok or YouTube, and they're following their trends because they think they're cool. Instead of lifting up their hearts and their voices to the Lord. And what does this say? It says, I call on the Lord in my distress, and he answers me. There's an idea of faith here. I call to the Lord, and the Lord answers. My prayer is not going to go empty. It's not going to be in vain. I'm going to talk to God. I'm going to present my problem to God, and God is going to answer me. What is the prayer saying? Save me, O Lord, from lying lips and from deceitful tongues. Who are the people who are lying? I could be lying to myself. I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I'm a sinner. God will never forgive me. God will never take me back. All these negative thoughts in my mind and heart that will turn me away from taking a step forward. Sometimes these lying lips are friends, people. Somebody will say, oh man, you're an idiot. You can't do this. You're not going to get this done. You're not good. You're a loser. You always make the same mistake over and over and over again. What, you only got a 95? Did your friends, no one in the class got a 97 or 100 or whatever? Why didn't you get the 90? Why did you only get 95 and not 100? Whatever it is, sometimes these lying lips or people that are telling you can't do it, or even your own inner thoughts will tell you that you can't do this or you're not good enough. Woe to me that I dwelt in Meshech and that I live among the tents of Kedar. What does that mean? It means that too long have I lived among those. I have lived too far away from where I need to be. I've gotten to a point where I'm too far. And not only am I too far, but I'm too far and I have taken too long to get to where I need to be. Like, the story of the prodigal son? He says the prodigal son took his father's wealth and he moved to a far place. And in that far place, he got into a situation where he is at the bottom of the barrel. He can't get any worse than this. It's the lowest possible place that he can be. And it says it doesn't matter. Even if you have been this far, even if you have been this far for such a long time, like the man who was at the lake or the pool for 38 years. That's older than, that's double the age of some of you guys. 38 years is a long time. And it didn't matter to Jesus because Jesus said, okay, time, get up, let's go. Pick up your stuff and let's move on. You're healed, don't sin anymore because you want something worse to happen to you. So he says that too long have I lived among those who hate peace. I am for peace, but I can't find peace. I'm struggling, okay? So this is the first psalm here. The journey is going to start, but there's a lot of negative thoughts that, you know what, maybe you can't do this journey. All right, we said Mina's going to read next. All right, here.
I lift up my eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. The Lord watches over you. The Lord will keep you from all harm, and he will watch over your life.
All right, so again, it reinforces that when I am in a dire situation, who do I go to? I go to God, right? I go to God. I lift up my eyes to the mountains. What are they doing? They're climbing up the mountain. When I was driving, in order for me not to get too anxious, I had to focus on the top. I couldn't turn around and look at where I was going to fall. I wasn't going to fall because I'm a good driver. I hope I was a good driver. I drove on a mountain, on a volcano. So I was a good driver, but why would I fall? Why would I fall? I've driven for many years, and I shouldn't fall off like this. You've driven in worse situations. Why all of a sudden you're going to fall? But as I was driving, if I looked sideways, I get more anxious. But I had to look forward. I had to look to the mountain. And sometimes we have to stare our problems in the eye and say, we're going to do this. But who's there with me? Where does my help come from? It comes from the Lord. Even though the mountain is huge, but who's huger or who's more huge? God. And what does it say? It says the maker of heaven and earth. Guess what? My God is the one who made this mountain. And if I'm struggling to climb up this mountain, I have somebody who made it. So if he made it, he can help me get through it because he's the one who made it. So when it clarifies that he's the maker of heaven and earth, he's the one who's going to help us go through the mountain or go up the mountain. He will not let your foot slip. He's not going to let you fall off the cliff. Okay? The Lord watches over you. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. Are you ready to take this step? If you have a struggle in your life today, are you ready to make that change in your life? If you have a problem, a weakness, a sin, an addiction, a bad relationship, whatever it is, you're scared to study for an exam or to apply for a job, or whatever it is that you're struggling with today, are you ready to take the step forward, knowing that God is going to be on your side and he will never let your foot slip? This is the second psalm, and we're going to move a little faster because of the time. Miriam. No? Is there a Miriam? No? There you go. Mark. I said Mark. Yeah, Mark. Go ahead. Are you a Mark?
This one, the first one.
There's two marks.
Oh, Mark 1 and Mark 2. We'll do both Marks.
We'll do both.
بس
marks.
بسرعة.
You first, Mark.
Red mark and then purple.
Red Mark and purple Mark.
I rejoice with those who said to me, let us go to the house of the Lord. Our feet stood in the courts of Jerusalem, Jerusalem which is built a city that's closely compacted together. That is where the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord, to praise the name of the Lord according to the statute given to Israel. There stand the thrones for judgment, the thrones of the house of David. For the sake of my family and my friends, I will say, peace be within you. For the sake of the house of the Lord, I will seek your prosperity.
Two things. The first part, it says, I rejoice with those who said to me, let us go to the house of the Lord. The church is a powerful community that is full of like-minded people who will give you the support that you need. A lot of the times we think that, I don't want to go to church. I don't need to go to church. A lot of people don't want to come to church. But the church is a powerful community of believers who are like-minded, who will help you go through the path. And it says we rejoice because we're doing this together. We're not doing it alone. You're not doing something alone, but you're doing it with your father of confession. You're doing it with your Sunday school servants. You're doing it with your fellow brothers and sisters who are like-minded, who want to get to experience eternal life too. And then it says here, Jerusalem is built like a city. Well, why did I put the whole thing about Jerusalem? Is because what is your goal? What are you trying to achieve? And what will happen when you achieve it? So they're talking about Jerusalem. They're like, well, why do we have to go? Because you're going for Jerusalem. Jerusalem is such a great place. What will you become when you overcome your sin? Who will you become when you overcome your weakness? What will you become when you finish your program that you're struggling to finish? Who will you become when you discipline yourself for the next 2 years to do whatever it is that you need to focus on for you to succeed and become prosperous? So if you think about the outcomes, if you think about Jerusalem, okay, well, what is my goal? What am I trying to achieve? And look at the outcomes and focus on the outcomes. And then at the end it says, for the sake of my family and my friends, for the sake of the house of the Lord our God, I am not the only person who's going to benefit from this growth. I'm not the only person who's going to benefit from overcoming this addiction or this sin or this problem. I'm not the only person who is going to succeed if I succeed. Who else is going to succeed? Who is else going to benefit? First of all, my family and my friends. When is the best time for you guys to become good fathers? Right now. In order for you to become a good father, you need to know how to be a good father now. How are you going to all of a sudden now, in like 10 years, 20 years from now, know how to become a good father? You have to start working on it from now. Because if you're not a good person today, and if you're not responsible and focused and dedicated to your family, eventually you're going to develop bad habits that you're going to take into becoming a father. When are you going to become a good husband or a good wife or a good mother? Now. How are you going to learn how to become a high-level individual who's going to bring good things into a relationship with your spouse? If you're bringing in garbage into a relationship, what kind of relationship will you have? Garbage. That's why divorce is on the rise. I'm not sure if it's the same here in Canada, but I'm sure, we share the same continent, we have the same issues, right? We have the same problems in New York that we have in Toronto. And we have the same issues in America that we have here in Canada, I'm sure. Well, why? And it's in Egypt. It's happening in Egypt even. Why are these family and domestic disputes on the rise? Because people don't know how to become good, high-level, and high-value individuals. So he says here, for the sake of my family, for my friends, for the sake of the house of the Lord, my church will become a more powerful place, a more glorious church, a more steadfast, faithful community if I become a strong, steadfast, faithful individual. My family will not struggle if I become a high-level individual. If I overcome my addiction today, 20 years from now, my son will grow up to be a successful person. So it's not just me who's going to benefit from overcoming, it's also those around me who are going to do it. And the church is a powerful community that is going to help us go through that. Okay, Mark, purple Mark. Yeah.
I lift up my eyes to you who sit enthroned in heaven. Have mercy on us, Lord, have mercy on us. For we have endured no end of contempt. We have endured no end of ridicule from the arrogant, of contempt from the proud.
As you try to do it, people are going to stand in your way. People are going to mock you. People are going to make fun of you. People are going to discourage you. People are going to tell you you're an idiot for doing this, or you're not smart, you're a fool. And guess what? The community today, I'm sure you're having the same struggles. The community today tells us that living out our Christian life is something crazy, something that is unacceptable, that we are actually becoming, all these different titles. We're Islamophobic and xenophobic and homophobic and all. If we stand for values and we say we have certain values, people become, ridicule you. Oh, you must be this. Oh, you must be that. Oh, you're not good enough. Oh, you hate people. Oh, all that kind of stuff, right? You want to live out your path as Christ-loving individual, and God is going to strengthen you, but from outside, people are going to start ridiculing you. And it says here, we have endured no end of contempt. It's nonstop. Why are you doing this? Oh, why don't you want to hang out with us? Why did you leave the group? Oh, all of a sudden now you're going to be a saint. Oh, just this one time. Join us at this party. Whatever it may be. And you say, well, I don't want to do that. Oh, you're too good for us. All of a sudden now you're too good for your friends. Whatever it may be, these are things that will come and will attack you. All right, next one. Very quickly, Mina. We missed you, right? Did you read already? Yeah? Type, what are other popular names? We said, Fi Marina Tanya? Oh, you're hiding. Okay. If you don't like vainglory, you just mess up in like 2 words or something. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
If the Lord had not been on our side when people attacked us, they would have swallowed us alive when their anger flared against us. The flood would have engulfed us. Praise be to the Lord, who has not let us be torn by their teeth. We have escaped like a bird from the fowler's snare. The snare has been broken, and we have escaped. Our help is in the name of the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth.
Awesome. Any thoughts? Come on. I explained some thoughts. Now you understand what the situation is looking like. We're climbing up this mountain. We're being discouraged at times. We're being hopeful at times. There's all these different mixed feelings. What's happening here? We're always reminded that who's on our side? God is on our side. When people will attack us, God is on our side. And if it hasn't been for God who's on our side, what's going to happen to us? We're going to fail, okay? And it says here, they would have swallowed us alive. Have you ever heard of that saying? Swallow you up alive? I'm not even going to chew you. They're going to just swallow you up alive. Praise be to the Lord, who has not let us be torn by their teeth. We have escaped. The snare has been broken. Our help is in the name of the Lord. What is going on? We're being reminded of God's work in my life or in your life. When you get all these negative feelings and thoughts, you always have to self-affirm, right? You have to always say, no. Well, why would God allow for me to fail when He wants me to succeed? Even if I do fail, that's not the end goal. God wants me to continue and to pursue and to become better. Okay, Andrew. Is there an Andrew? There's an Andrew. Okay, awesome. Is there another Andrew, or that's the only Andrew? There's another Andrew? You guys, rat him out. Is there another Andrew that's sitting here? And Mary. Okay, yeah, Mary. I said Maryam. قالوا لي ما فيش حد اسمه مريم هنا. في موجود? Okay. Good. Okay, Mary is next, and then Maryam is after. Oh, nice. I love. Yeah, nice. Okay, Andrew, go ahead.
Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be shaken but endures forever. Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy. The one who continually goes forth weeping, bearing seed for sowing, shall doubtless come again with rejoicing, bringing his sheaves with him.
Awesome. So he read 2 Psalms because these are just the highlights of the Psalms. So Psalm 125 says, those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion. We're actually climbing up Mount Zion. If you trust the Lord, you're just as strong as any hardship, which cannot be shaken but endures forever. So if you trust in the Lord, you can't be shaken, just the same as a mountain. You're very solid and strong, and you're steadfast. And then the next one says, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy. Do you guys farm here, plant? This is like farmer town, right? Yeah, right? Have you ever planted something? Huh? Cowboys. Cowboys and girls. Do you guys plant something? Do you plant? How hard is planting? Is it easy just to plant? When you plant something, how long does it take for something to come out? Does it come right away? Like if you're planting, have you ever planted like a mango tree? It's in Florida, not here. Yeah. How long does it take for a mango tree to start blossoming and bringing forth fruit? 5 years, right? So if the person who is watering it decides to stop watering it after 3 years, like, oh my gosh, I've been watering this thing for 3 years and nothing comes out, what's going to happen? It's going to die, and he just wasted his time, right? And when you sow and you reap, sow means that you plant it, and reaping means you take the fruit. So it says that you sow with tears, but you reap with joy. It's hard to plant. It's hard to water. It's hard to every time go out and clean up the weeds around it. It's hard to build a fence so the little foxes don't go underneath and destroy it. You guys have deer here that climb up and jump your fence and eat whatever it is that you've planted. You know, I planted a fig tree the other day, and then I woke up in the morning and it wasn't there anymore because the deer just ate through the branches and the leaves. So if you don't protect it, what's going to happen? It's going to die, right? But if you do and you work hard, reap in joy, because you're going to see the fruit of your labor. You're going to see the victory. You're going to see the success. You're going to see the fact that you've spent so many years trying to overcome sin, and you've overcome sin. You spent so many years or months trying to pass an exam, and you pass an exam. You know, you work through it, and then when you get to the results, you see great things happening. Bearing seed for sowing, the one who continually goes forth weeping, bearing seed. I just want to focus on that a little bit. It says here, the one who continually, doesn't just start and stop, but continually. Even if you do start and stop, start again. And if you do stop, start again. And if you do stop, start again, until you finally get to a point where you see the results. Shall doubtless come again with rejoicing, bringing his sheaves with him, right? We are going to become confident in the work of God if we continue to do the things we're supposed to do. All right, we said there's a Maryam. Where is she? All right, Maryam, let's hear you. Go for it. And Purple Andrew's bringing you the mic. Well, Mary's next. Is there another Maryam, or that's the only Maryam? في مريم تانية؟ Okay. بس هي قالت لا المرة اللي فاتت. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
Unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build it. Unless the Lord guards the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he gives his beloved sleep.
When you begin to see results, remember that it's the work of God in your life. Once we begin to think that we're the one capable, we're the ones able, we're the ones doing the work, St. Paul says, let him who thinks he stands take heed lest he fall. Pride comes before the fall. Once I lose that humble spirit of knowing that I did not do this on my own, but God is the one who got me through this, and I am working alongside with God, I will be able to stand and I will be able to continue. Once I get arrogant, I lose that sense of humility and the spirit of humility, I begin to fall. I'm the one who's gifted. I'm the one who's talented. I'm the one who does things that nobody else can do it. I'm better than this person because this person is not as good as me in so many different areas. The other day, I'm not going to tell you, like somebody was sharing a confession with me, and then he said, the reason why I fell in this sin is because I started judging other people. And I was doing very well, and then once I started judging people for not doing, or for doing the sin that I used to do, and I'm like, look, I overcame, I'm not doing it anymore. These guys, they don't want to give it up. They fell. And he said, the moment I started talking about them in my mind or in my heart, I fell. So this psalm here says, remember that the Lord is the one who's building, the Lord is the one who's aiding, the one who's on your side, and he's going to take you through the process. We're almost done. We have like 7 more or something like that, huh? Next. Mary. Fain Mary.
Blessed is everyone who fears the Lord, who walks in his way. When you eat the labor of your hands, you shall be happy, and it shall be well with you. Your wife shall be like a fruitful vine in the very heart of your house, your children like olive plants all around your table.
Again, we're talking about the same concepts that we talked about before, that it's not just your success, but it's the success of other people in your life. When you eat the labor of your hands, what does that mean? You got to work. Don't be lazy. Don't be sluggish. Don't be lethargic. Don't sit back. Don't depend on other people to do the things that you're supposed to do. Be accountable. Hold yourself accountable. Hold yourself responsible. Do the things that you're supposed to do. And then this person sees the fruits. Your wife shall be like a fruitful vine. Why? Because you're a good quality person who's bringing good quality into a relationship. And what's going to come out? Good quality. Okay? Okay, we said there's another Mary, Abuna, you said? We're done? Kareem? Oh, I would have never gotten that one. Yeah, I would have never gotten like I would never have guessed to say Kareem. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, you know what Kareem means?
Generous.
Generous or precious. Yeah, that's awesome. Which one would you prefer? Precious or generous? Both.
I'll do generous. Many a time have afflicted me from my youth. Let Israel now say, many a time they have afflicted me from my youth, yet they have not prevailed against me. And the plowers plowed on my back. They made their furrows long. The Lord is righteous. He has cut in pieces the cords of the wicked.
Again, we were going through the process, and what's going to happen? You're still going to face challenges. What's going on with these Psalms, it's not that they're like, mixed feelings. They're telling you that sometimes you're going and everything is fine, and then you're going to see an obstacle in your path. You're going to remember how people used to afflict you when you were younger, things that were told. A lot of people grow up say, well, I have issues from when I was a child. If you ever go to therapy or seen like movies where, people go to counselors or therapists, they start with, tell me about your relationship with your mother, or tell me about your relationship with your father, or whatever. What are they trying to do? They're trying to go to the youthful years and say, okay, what was happening to you in those youthful years? So the Psalms here are going back and forth because they're saying, you got to the point that you're up top 80%, and then you're like, let's turn around and go back down. Because of this and this and this and this, we're being afflicted, we're being told negative things. The plowers plowed on my back. Have you ever plowed your yard or your lawn with your lawnmower? That's what they're doing on your back. Do you understand the imagery? Like somebody brings the lawnmower and like goes over your back, and and the blades just like cut you up and destroy your back. That's exactly what it is. It says it's not going to be easy, but you have to keep going. Okay? And we said Kareem, and who else, Abuna, was next? Okay, خلاص يبقى كده خلصنا. Yeah, 2 Davids and 1 Michaels, and we're done. Okay, yeah. Are you all sitting next to each other? Where is the 2 Davids? Okay, perfect. Abuna has eyes in behind his eyes, you can see. Yeah.
Out of the depths I cry to you.
I think the cross here, that he has a cross here, and has a camera that he sees on his phone. That'd be really cool. All right, go ahead. Yeah.
Out of the depths I cry to you, O Lord. Lord, hear my voice. Let my ears be attentive to my cry for mercy. If you, Lord, kept a record of sins, Lord, who could stand? But with you there is forgiveness, so that we can with reverence serve you.
Some people will go to confession multiple times and never feel forgiven. They'll come back and say the same thing. I don't feel that, I've received forgiveness. And he says here, Lord, who's going to not be without sin? If you keep a record of our sins, who's going to stand? And God doesn't want to keep a record. He wants to clear out the record. So we come to confession, when we come to talk to Abuna, and Abuna gives us absolution, that record is wiped out. If you, O Lord, keep a record of sins, who's going to stand? We can't stand against that record of sin. But with you there is forgiveness, so that we can, with reverence, serve you. And the purpose of us succeeding is so we can continue to serve God. Okay, 2 Davids and a Michael. Who's next? Okay. Is that a David or a Michael?
Michael.
Michael, okay.
Surely I have calmed and quieted my soul. Like a weaned child with his mother, like a weaned child is my soul within me. Lord, remember David in all his afflictions, how he swore to the Lord and vowed to the Mighty One of Jacob. Surely I will not go into the chamber of my house or go up to the comfort of my bed. I will not give sleep to my eyes or slumber to my eyelids until I find a place of the Lord, a dwelling place of the Mighty One of Jacob.
So first Psalm 131 says, I have calmed and quieted my soul. My soul was raging. I was going through so much. Now I've gotten to a place where I'm calm. I'm able. I'm confident. I'm comfortable. And then the next one says, Lord, remember David and all his affliction. We remember the people of God who made promises to do whatever it takes to keep God's promise or to keep God's covenant. And he says how he swore and vowed, surely I will not go into my chamber of my house or go up to the comfort of my bed. I will not give sleep to my eyes or slumber to my eyelids until I find a place. I'm not going to sleep. I'm not going to rest until I get this done. Okay? And God will get us through it. Unless this is like the journey here. We're almost there. We're almost there. Last two. David. Fadl David or Fadl Michael? David, right?
David.
Okay, awesome.
Behold, how good, how pleasant is it for your brethren to dwell together in unity. Behold, bless the Lord, all you servants of the Lord, who by night stand in the house of the Lord. Lift up your hands in the sanctuary and bless the Lord.
So what happened at the end? Where are they? Where is he? He's in the sanctuary. What was he trying to do? What was the whole purpose of the journey? To get to the sanctuary, right? To get to the house of the Lord. The whole purpose of the journey is to get to Jerusalem, to get to the temple, to offer their sacrifices. So he says, lift up your hands in the sanctuary and bless the Lord. You got there, you finally got there, and what are you going to do when you get there? You bless the Lord. Okay? So we went through them very quickly. I took some, verses out of them, just we don't have to read all the Psalms. And I know it was, as much as it is a journey, it was a journey for us to get through it and to talk about it. And again, there are 15 Psalms, so it's not a short, Bible study. It's a very long Bible study. But the purpose of this is that we have journeys in our lives. Everything's a journey in our lives. Repentance, academics for you guys, work, careers, maybe family, children, your grandparent. Everything is a journey. Building a beautiful church like this sure takes a long time. It's a journey. Building a faithful congregation is a journey. Being good, children to your parents is a journey. Being faithful servants is a journey. Being successful in every aspect of your life is a journey. And when we face these journeys, sometimes we don't want to start. Sometimes we do start and give up. Sometimes we start and fail and then decide that we're not going to do it again. And sometimes we start and fail multiple times until we finally get it right. So in that process, when we have these mountains in our lives that we have to climb or go around or go through or whatever they may be, we're not going to just have this inner conflict. We're going to have temptations from outside. And if you think about Job suffered so many temptations, and then his friends came and they made it worse. His wife said, just curse God and die. People will come and they will become an obstacle for you. Your friends, maybe sometimes even your closest people to you. As long as you know what you want to do and remember your why first is your what. What do you want to do? Then is your why do you want to do it? And then is how are you going to do it? What is it that you want to do? These people wanted to go to Jerusalem. Why? Because it said Jerusalem is this precious place, in one of the Psalms was talking about Jerusalem, this great city where there's great things. We're going to the sanctuary. That's their why. How are we going to do it? We're going to climb up this mountain, and we're going to do it together. We're going to do it in unity. We're going to sing psalms. We're going to take our families. We're going to push each other. We're going to encourage each other. If somebody falls, we're going to raise him up and lift him up and tell him, let's go. So what is it that you want to do? What is your what? And what is your why? Why do you want to do it? And then what is your how? How are you going to do it? Think about it. Be practical. Sit with your guidance, people who are going to give you guidance, your father of confession, your parents, your teachers, whatever it is that you're thinking of starting or starting of doing. It doesn't always have to be a spiritual, goal that we have. We first make sure that your spiritual life is intact, in place, that you're striving towards, your success in your spiritual life, your academics, your careers, your relationship with your parents, your spouses, your family, and then there's so many different things that you can accomplish in life. What is it that you want to do? Why do you want to do it? And then how do you want to do this? Very quick, summary of the Psalms of Ascent. I think they're powerful. I think if you really focus on the rest of the Psalms and the rest of the verses of the Psalms, focus on them, take them little by little, work through them, understand them, see how they can apply in your life. We pray them every day in the Vespers and Compliant prayers. They're split over the two prayers. They come at the end of the day, after we've gotten to experience a lot of experiences and have hardships and difficulties, and we come to a point where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, I'm so lazy, I don't want to do this anymore. And then you get to this point and you say, well, lift up your hands in the sanctuary. You have accomplished great things. I thank you, Lord, for allowing us to accomplish it. Thank you guys very much. Thank you, Abuna. Thank you, Abuna. It's a really great blessing to be here with you and to take the blessing of talking to you.
Thank you so much, Abuna. Abuna, is it possible to take some not verbal questions? We'll make him a maximum of 4. Is that okay? And then we'll end with a song.
Abuna's here. He can answer questions for us.
Abuna, can we do at least 4 questions? Abuna's busy babysitting. And just for the sake of time, we'll take some few questions. Anyone have any questions to ask? Taban, this is putting you on the spot. I wanted to do Slido, but I was like, too much work. So he said we wanted to save time. Kiru. Anyone have any questions or comments? Not comments, questions to learn. I think, Abuna, we have a very shy group here.
So it means 2 things. Either I did my job very well, that no one has any questions, or you guys did not hear any of the things I've said, and therefore you have no questions. They're shy.
They're very shy.
Or 3 things.
Abuna, if that's the case, there's a couple things. We'll sing a couple songs. There's one request here from a fan like me. But first, before we get into the songs and everybody will leave afterwards, I want to thank Abuna for coming, and I thank all of you for coming as well to hear and get the blessing of Abuna. Actually, Abuna, I don't know him. We never met before. It's actually just through the videos of the Taranim. I've been following Abuna for a long time. COVID happened. COVID went through, and I was like, oh, we have a retreat. So I looked up Abuna 2 years ago. Couldn't get Abuna for whatever reason. I can't remember what it is. And then 2 years later, I called Abuna, and because I asked him 2 years before, see how God works, the ascent, Psalms of Ascent, then Abuna was like, oh, well, you asked me once, here I will come again. So we're blessed to have you, Abuna, and thank you so much. And like I said to you guys before, I have an Abuna, how do you say it? Abuna crush on Abuna Mina, because he's very humble. He's very kind, and you guys, he's lovable from the moment you can see him, and he's a great blessing to us, and I thank you, Abuna, for being humble and coming to us this far, because Abuna spent all day long traveling. They just have to understand, 2 flights. He went to Montreal, but then he came to the best part of Canada, which is Calgary. So whoever is hearing me from those sides, yeah. But we'll do a couple songs, because I got a couple special requests, one from the list you have, and one, You're My True Shepherd. أنت الرب الراعي. فقدسك يعني this one is a oldie for you. يعني it's an old song for Abuna.
I haven't sung it after I recorded it.
بجد Abuna?
Yeah.
That's how probably most of us know you by.
Yeah.
أنت الرب الراعي.
I translated that song and we sang it together, me and Police Malek, and after that I haven't said it before.
طب نعملها ولا نعملهاش?
We can try.
طب ما احنا ما عندناش lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
I have some lyrics, but we'll go and then we'll end after the sabun. Okay. هو join.
You have the words?
This is the one that I found.
No, this is not the same. They've taken that translation.
في another one بيقول.
That's not the words that we use, but yeah.
يوستينا انت تعرف
I was gonna say, yeah, I can put it up.
ممكن طب
Yeah.
Is it the same same
لا
one?
مش دي صح؟ اوعى تكون ده صح.
عاوزها مع الايقاع ولا بيانو بس؟ بتحبي؟